You opened your phone this morning, and within 30 seconds, you already felt behind. Someone your age bought a house. Someone you went to school with started a business that is already thriving. Someone you barely know is traveling the world, getting married, celebrating a launch, holding a life together that looks nothing like the one you are sitting in right now. And something in you quietly asks the same question. It always asks, what am I doing wrong? Nothing. You are doing nothing wrong. You are simply standing in chapter 3, holding it up next to someone else's chapter 20, and wondering why yours looks so unfinished by comparison. I did not write your story to match theirs. I never intended for it to. But the Matrix has convinced you that everyone is running the same race, on the same track, starting at the same line. And if you are not where they are, you have somehow fallen behind in a competition that was never real to begin with. There is no shared timeline. There never was. The person whose chapter 20 you are staring at did not skip chapters 3 through 19. You simply were not watching when they lived them. You did not see their setbacks, their false starts, their years of quiet struggle that never made it onto a screen. You are comparing your unfinished middle to their curated highlight and calling the difference a failure. It was never a failure. It was an unfair comparison from the very beginning. I know it is difficult to sit in an early chapter while everyone around you seems to be turning the final pages. I know it feels like proof that you are somehow behind schedule. But I did not put you on their schedule. I put you on yours. Every chapter you are living right now, the uncertain ones, the slow ones, the ones that feel like nothing is happening, those are not wasted pages. Those are the chapters that build the foundation strong enough to hold everything that comes later. You do not skip to chapter 20 by wishing you were already there. You get there by living chapter 3 all the way through, with patience, even when it is unglamorous. Even when no one is watching. Even when it feels like nothing worth posting is happening. The Matrix profits from your comparison. It wants you scrolling, measuring, doubting, because a person who constantly feels behind is a person who keeps chasing, keeps buying, keeps looking outward for the thing that was only ever going to be built from the inside. Comparison is not an accident of the algorithm. It is the entire design. But I am not running an algorithm. I am not measuring you against anyone else's timeline. I already know what chapter you are in, and I already know it is exactly where you need to be right now. Not behind, not late, not falling short of some invisible deadline someone else has already met. Your story was never meant to move at their pace. So let me tell you what I see when I look at your chapter 3. I see the parts you are ashamed to show anyone. I see the version of you that is still figuring things out, still healing from things no one else knows about, still building something you can't fully explain yet, even to yourself. And none of that looks like failure to me. It looks like foundation. It looks like the quiet, unglamorous work that every meaningful chapter after this one is going to be built on top of. The people whose chapter 20 you keep comparing yourself to did not arrive there without their own version of this exact moment. Somewhere behind their success is a season that looked exactly like yours does right now. Uncertain, slow, unfinished, easy to doubt. You simply were not there to see it, so it is easy to believe they skipped it entirely. They did not. No one does. I want you to stop measuring your becoming against someone else's arrival. Your timeline was never meant to look like theirs. If it did, it would not be yours. The very things that make your story late by the Matrix's standard, the detours, the setbacks, the years that felt wasted, those are often the exact chapters that shape you into someone capable of carrying what is coming later. Nothing you have lived was wasted. Not the failed attempt, not the relationship that ended, not the job that did not work out the way you hoped. All of it was chapter building, even when it did not feel like progress at the time. I am not in a hurry with you. I never have been. You are the one who keeps checking the clock, keeps counting the chapters, keeps wondering if you are running out of time to catch up to a life you were never assigned to live. You were never behind. You were exactly where I placed you, growing at exactly the pace this particular chapter required. So the next time you feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that quiet ache of watching someone else's highlight reel and feeling your own life shrink beside it, remember this. You are not watching their whole story. You are watching a single page, ripped out of context, stripped of every difficult chapter that came before it. Close the comparison. Open your own book again. Read the chapter you are actually living, not the one you wish you had skipped ahead to. I am writing something with you that could not exist on anyone else's timeline. Not faster, not slower, exactly as it needs to unfold. Stop reading someone else's ending and calling it your deadline. Your chapter 20 is coming. But it will only make sense if you let yourself fully live chapter 3 first. I am on your timeline with you. I always have been. Until the next one, awakened choosers.